in case you guys hadn't heard, there is a lady, Monica Davis. She was accused of illegally performing dental work in the Chicago area. She turned herself in. She was charged with 3 felonies in Illinois. But here is the catch: she had already done this out in Nevada, in Las Vegas. Um, really, seriously? Now I have to say this because I'm trying to understand it. But the idea of not being a dentist, but working in somebody's mouth.
Mm.
You did it once, got caught, ran off, and then did it again in Chicago. And we're not just saying, I mean, this lady was doing dentistry and braces. She was doing some orthodontics. So,
Mhm.
and I was like, okay, but it gets better, ladies. Hold on. It gets better, people, because you thought, okay, that's just nothing. Then we have this dude, Brandon Dillard, down there in the ATL, where he scammed people out of like $4 million. He is the veneer doctor in Atlanta. The veneer doctor. And let me tell you real quick. Okay, so his lawyer, I'm curious about his lawyer. Really quick. I gotta take the comments down. I want you to see this. He pleaded not guilty. And in a new motion to quash the indictment, Diller's attorney is arguing all charges should be dismissed because his client had no way of knowing he was breaking the law.
Come on.
Something tells me that this attorney doesn't have his credentials either.
How do you go into court and say, I'm sorry, judge, my client didn't know that he had to be an actual dentist to work in people's mouths? He didn't know he needed that.
If I was the judge, I would be insulted. I would be insulted.
Like, wait, what? So here is the question. Here's our question that I would like to. I'm gonna start with Dr. Dale first, and this is, why do people lie about their credentials? I wanna start there. So, Dr. Dale, when I was writing my ideas down, people do assume that there's no assumption. There is the idea that a title gives you instant authority, right? The title comes with. And then there also appears to be some emotional need for validation, admiration, control. And some people even think that, they'll believe their own narrative, if you will, over time. So the question here is, at what point does pretending become believing?
One of my family members have this thing that says, I tell the lie. I tell the lie so well, I have to believe it in order for them to believe it.
Mm.
And just that alone, pretending, just no, there's no words. Some people begin with, I would say that people lie about, these folks are lying about their credentials, intention, deception, insecurity, the motivation. What are they looking for? There's something that they feel that they're lacking, and it behooves us to do a little bit more research before we jump to conclusions. They convince themselves that they are basically qualified, right? And then what makes it worse is that their followers validate that, because they see, oh, they have 5,000, 1 million followers, so it must be true. They must be real. And no. Success, that number going up with their followers, that success is reinforcing the lie, right?
Yeah.
So before long, protecting that image becomes way more important than the truth.
You know what? I was thinking when I wrote this, before I turned it to Dr. Tachi to get her thoughts, that when social networking came on the scene, it really was to talk to people, meet people, create connection. And then we got to this new age of storytelling. And when people would call out somebody for saying, you're not really on a yacht, you don't really own this, you're not really doing that, they would give them the blues, called them haters. You're just hating. And I think now that because we didn't hold those folks accountable for the lies, which also became alternative truths, we have this monster on our hands. What say you, Dr. Tachi?
100%. I agree with Dr. Dale in terms of, there was something that you said, the last thing that you said, and I'm trying to remember how exactly.
Protecting their image became a lot more important than the truth. Like,
yes, because I didn't want to misquote you. So
Yeah.
that right there, that what she said. When I think about it, and I know we're going to get into individual grifters, but when we talk about Cheyenne Bryant, I've seen this narrative with her because of the fact that she doubles down. Not only is she loud and wrong, but she's doubling down on the loud and wrong. And then she then comes to, I don't have to prove to anyone but Jesus. That's all she does now. So now you've included religion in this because people are not quick to question religion. So as long as you can put an aspect of that in there, she thinks she's safe. Little does she know, people are far from the days of not questioning religion anymore. To the contrary, we question it even more now because of things that are going on. But she's falling back on religious tropes of people not being comfortable questioning things. And so she said, well, I don't have to prove it to anybody but Jesus. Jesus, well, yeah, you do. And first of all, why did you drag his name in this? He's like, why did you drag my name in this? How dare you? I think, though, and this is not to make excuses for any of this, because it is all deplorable and wrong. But if we did not have a society that only allows you movement when you achieve these milestones, we would not have this problem. And I'm not saying that they're right in doing this, but there are so many, think about how many roadblocks there are for people who actually want to do that. And especially now, and I don't want to get political, but you look at what's happening with the government and what they're doing in terms of making it harder for people who want to get graduate degrees. You cannot get a certain amount. They're capping the amount that you can get, which is way under what it actually costs to undertake graduate study. So there are roadblocks that are being put in the way, and that's more recent thing. But if you think about it, there have always been roadblocks. The roadblocks to this level of success is that you have enough money, or that you can qualify for this aid, or you can take out this loan in order to make it happen. So it is not guaranteed to you. So if we had a more equitable society, I suspect people wouldn't be so quick to try and feign their credentials because they wouldn't have to. And that's not an excuse. I'm just saying that's one aspect of it.
Well, this is perfect. It's almost like you read my notes, although I didn't give them my notes, but it feels like you read my notes.
No, we don't know. We're going blind here.
I want to talk about that fame economy. It appears that social media rewards attention, not accuracy. It doesn't reward accuracy. And that perceived expertise tends to lead to speaking gigs, sponsorships, courses. Again, you've got controversy that will lead to visibility. So I'm going to throw it to you, Dr. Tachi. Is our system creating grifters, or is it just rewarding them?
I think it's both. It both creates and rewards. Good job at being a grifter. Here's your prize. I think it does both.
Dr. Dale, thoughts?
I agree 1,000%. The social media rewards the certainty, the simplicity, the charismatic, the confidence, right? And it rarely, from what I see as well, that it rarely rewards nuance. Or someone says, I don't know, which is going to trend more. Someone that is sounding confident, or someone that's vulnerable and saying, yeah, I don't know about this. And I don't know how I feel about it. The algorithm isn't, and correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, G and your experience, Dr. Tachi.
Yeah.
Algorithm isn't asking, are you qualified? It's asking, can you keep my attention?
The algorithm doesn't give a damn whether or not you're qualified. Not too damn at all.
No, exactly.
Not even 2 wooden nickels. It's not.
No.
It doesn't. I mean, here's my deal. And again, I just had a quick workshop last night that talked about focusing on connections versus followers, because real, genuine, authentic connections will get you the business, will get you whatever accolade you're looking for, will get you the community, it will get you whatever it is that you desire. Versus, yes, right?
All the things, yeah.
All of it versus the followers. And people were buying followers thinking that, well, if I have 1,000 followers, then I can get this sponsorship. However, there's this other number called engagement. And if your engagement is garbage, they're not talking to you because there's no engagement, right? So let me share a quick comment here from Jazzy. She said, it's the influence that these people have that allows the grift to continue. She also says we confuse influence with knowledge. Okay, so that's that. I just love how you guys are just writing this. Please go, Dr. Tachi.
Yeah, I wanted to add to this thing. I remember years ago when, live streaming became a big thing in 2015. Meerkat was founded first in April of 2015, March, because it debuted at South by Southwest, and then April of 2016 came Periscope, for those of you who remember. Those are the early mass media, plural, that were dealing with live streaming that made it easy for the public to do, right? And so I remember that there was an overwhelming amount of individuals who were like, I'm the Periscope king, I'm the Periscope queen, I can do this, this is how you do this, this is how you get it, this is how you get all these people. And they were getting so much attention simply because they claimed they knew how to do this. My thing is, though, and at some point we have to take responsibility for that, because you got on the same time I did. How do you know this is the way? That you don't know? But the average person is too lazy to do the work to understand. So you're going to believe whoever says they have the key to happiness in this land. The other thing about this is I remember at that same time, what's the weatherman from the Today Show? Al Roker. So yes. So Al Roker was really heavily into live streaming apps at that time, like the early age of it. And there was one, I can't remember the name of it now, but it was a big one, not Periscope and not Meerkat, but it was a larger one. YouNow, that was it. So he put a lot of resources into YouNow. And he was working with people. And I remember that the person that he was working with did like a kind of like an interview with Mario Armstrong. So, I was asking questions like, so what does it take to be put on his network? Because he had a whole live stream network, Al Roker did. And he said, minimum, you have to have at least minimum 20,000 followers. And that was the way people were thinking. At that point, it wasn't even about engagement. Engagement came later. They were only concerned about the number of eyes you had possibly looking at things. Yes. And that's where we get our numbers matter thing from. And it really does not, it's the engagement, but we were so, in order to even have a piece of the pie, because you had to have a certain amount of followers or a certain amount of community members, they wouldn't even talk to you if you didn't have that. And so we started to aim for that number instead of for quality and being knowledgeable.
Yeah. Quantity over quality versus quality over quantity. And influence without integrity, I mean, call it what it is. It's manipulation. You're manipulating people at the end of the day. And I know, G, you mentioned earlier about the work. I'm going to bring in this piece for the workplace, right? And you mentioned about titles and people thinking that titles get you, this is it. And which is why these folks are lying, right? And pretending, these grifters, this is what they're doing. The workplace shows you the title, CEO, C-suite, That's the boss. I'm a VP. Like, it's also right there telling you, right? It's making you believe that because this person is a manager, this person should be looked up to. This person is influential. He's a great leader. This person is doing all the amazing things when the title got nothing to do with
it. Nothing to do with it. I remember telling people at the previous job that having a title does not make you a leader. It just doesn't. And there were some people in that other organization that I say I would not follow to a trash can, and I meant that. I mean, it's like, look, I'm not even. Let me share some comments before I get to our next question, because I do want to talk about that cultural shift where we stopped using our discernment and we just started trusting people without any kind of verification. As Ron said, the problem is that we give these folks the power. Mm-hmm. Cut Game says, to be honest, a lot of people have paper credentials because they know somebody, while some gatekeep others made up because honestly, all the crooks know the loopholes. So you fake it is at the top of the chain. I'm just saying. Jazzy agrees with Juan, and she also says, listen, speaking as a person that has been around a lot of people with titles, I will say some of them are the dumbest people you will ever know. Let me tell you. I'm always like, and how did you get in here? Like, I just want to know who do you know that allowed you to get in here? Because you didn't get here by yourself.
Are you?
Yeah, right.
Just damn daft.
So who helped you out? But here's my question for I'm going to you again, Dr. Tachi.
Okay.
We went from a place where people would actually verify before they just trusted something. Now, if you have the look, the aesthetic, you look professional, which I even hate that phrase, or you have the language, you have the therapy speak, you use the medical terms, or maybe again, you just have the competence to deliver, right, over the truth. There is clearly a decline in the institutional trust, and there's this rise of this independent voice. So have we replaced credentials with charisma?
Oh, I love that question. And I would say in the age of social media and visibility, yes, because the people that are rewarded are, as we've been saying, not the ones who are the most knowledgeable or the most adept. They're the ones who are the most charismatic. Because let's think about the average. There are some great charismatic doctors, for example, but there are some that are as dry as Melba toast. Is Melba toast dry? I don't know. I've never actually had it. It just sounds good. So there's dry as toast, right? But what happens is people like the flash, they like the glam, they like the glitz. And you may be a very adept doctor, but that doesn't fly in the world of social. And so what ends up happening is you have an overabundance of people that are, all you have to do is look now. That's why people are so damn confused, because there's so much conflicting health information out there. There was already conflicting health information because science is not an exact science, but now add that with pseudo professionals who are pseudo individuals who think they know this is what you should be eating for this, and this is what you should be eating for that. And it could end up not being well, but because it's wrapped in a pretty package, we believe it. So yes, I think in the age of social media and the age of visibility, it absolutely has taken over as more important than the knowledge.
Before I let Dr. Dale add in her 2 cents, I just want to give a shout out to a dear friend who I have to say he has helped me in so many ways. Nico Fontaine. I'm not gonna give his whole government name, but he says, say it again for people in the back. When I tell you his level of leadership and serving others still sticks with me to this day.
I love
Wow.
it.
It most certainly
Awesome.
does. So shout out to you, Nico Fontaine. We would say suck it in and tuck it in, but that's a whole
Wow.
nother-
Wow. That sounds like a whole different type of conversation right there.
There's something that goes with that. But Lisa says the celebrities with the titles doesn't mean anything. I don't know why people get their panties in a bunch over it. It's the school wanting to get a little bit of cachet from having this celebrity. There you go.
Mhm.
Ron also says here, wait a minute, come on now. There you go. Okay, there we go. The proof of Jazzy's statement is the U.S. Vice President and the President of the U.S.
Mic drop.
Long side, super long side.
Long,
Yeah.
loud, exasperated sigh.
Only for the uninformed does that charisma replace it. Yes. As she says, Camille says buzzword masters. And I mean, they got them down.
Yeah.
They are reciting those buzzwords like it's like a whole thing here. Before I go to you, Dr. Dale, let me get in Lisa's comment where she says, in Dr. Brian's case, she has to be careful because if she's not really a therapist, can she be sued for impersonation? Ooh, let me flag it. Let me flag that one. Let me flag it. Dr. Dale, what say you about this credentials versus charisma?
Absolutely, I agree 100%. The biggest credential people trust is not a degree, it's confidence. And because they're going out there with all of their chest, confidence captures attention. Confidence captures, it fills the room. Confidence, I can't tell you how many times I've been in rooms where the leader claims to know something, and when you turn around and figure it out, and when it's time to do that project or to add value from his or their perspective, can't deliver. And so you end up having to do it all by yourself because they don't know what they said they knew how to do in the interview, nowhere near what they could actually do. But confidence is not evidence, right? Confidence is not competence. Confidence is not character. And definitely character is what keeps the conversation, the confident, honest. It's being honest.
I feel like I need some plastic mics next time I come on with y'all. I'm like want to drop all the mics around here. I mean, my God. I was like, what? Let me go to Jazzy real quick before I bring in our next topic here, because this is all still together. But Jazzy says, speak louder because uninformed eat all of this up is sad because in reality, they prey on the vulnerable. Well, okay, this is perfect. It's a perfect segue because I want to talk about the shortcut mentality. Because people are thinking, why should I spend 8 years when I can act like I did this and still get paid? For me, it's the hustle culture going wrong. It's like, I don't want to wait for that. I want to get my millions, whatever now. And then we have this outcome focused society versus the process. I don't want to know the process. I just want it. So you just start making up some stuff. So let me go here. Let me go to our next deal because I want to make sure we get in here. We got the social media fame and the false authority.
Okay.
Oh my goodness. First of all, for those of you, there's a young lady out in Australia. Let me take it down for really quick. Belle Gibson. Last time I heard, she is still on the run. First of all, not only is she still on the run, but she's running another con in another country. For some people, it's a serial thing, right? But Belle Gibson is the one. She's a young lady who claimed that she cured this really incurable cancer, and she was preying on these cancer victims, taking the money, claiming to do this and that, and she had all these people literally defending her when there were people who were like, I am sounding the alarm on this lady. And this is where groupthink for me gets into trouble. People are so quick to get behind somebody. It's like, you don't even know this person. You are seeing a version of this person online. Let me come full screen real quick for myself. Hold up. Yeah. When people talk about knowing people, it's like, I feel like I know you. You know the version of me that you want to romanticize, right? Now, I am G all the time. What you see online is pretty much who I am. I'm liable to cuss somebody out. Sometimes my attitude is stank. Yeah, that's real. My brother will tell you that's real. So when you see me in person, they're like, "Wow, you're not how I imagine," because you imagine some other version of me. I keeps it real. Okay. So, but we have this thing of romanticizing who we believe somebody is, who we want them to be, and we roll with that. So, the people who were literally standing for this woman, not knowing her, I mean, literally giving the folks who called it out hell. Ooh, and what happened? Well, one, she wasn't sick. Two, she took all their money. And now, again, she's on the run. And even when they asked her in an interview to come clean, she just she couldn't get her mouth to form the words to say, yes, I am a liar. She couldn't do it. As Jazzy says, yes, Gibson's story, it was insane. And I have to think as a person who may be battling cancer, you're looking for some hope, right? Yeah. So when our father was diagnosed with lung cancer, it was stage 3. It was an aggressive stage 3. And like I said, I am very matter of fact with change that is coming. So I was like, yeah, I told the doctor saying, we're going to do chemo. We're going to do this. I'm thinking, doc, he's losing weight entirely too fast. It's just not going to happen. Right. So I get how there are people looking for that hope, and they are preying on that hope. They are literally coming for people knowing that they are vulnerable. So before I go on to the comments and to the next ones, do you want to share anything, Dr. Dale, about Belle Gibson?
Boy, it's very sad when folks are preying on the vulnerable, and when people are desperate, when they're sick, when they're burnout, when they're grieving, when they're lonely, you name it, and their critical thinking skills often becomes secondary to hope. And to your point, hope is a powerful thing, right? And unfortunately, these grifters know that, and they walk right into it, right?
Definitely walk right into it. I'm looking at Jazzy's comment here as I go back to it. She says that Gibson was providing hope to people who felt hopeless, which is why she was able to gain traction. That is definitely the case. I mean, and
there's a quote by Tom Bodett that says, they say that a person needs 3 things in life to be happy: someone to love, something to do, your purpose, and something to hope for. And that's the world, that's humanity. And they're gonna latch on. We're gonna latch on to the little bit of hope that we have left, but at all cost.
Yeah, I agree with that. Well, you know what? I thought that was awful, which it is awful. But then we got this chick. Now, look, I am equal opportunity when it comes to grifters. I don't care what you look like. I don't care the ethnicity or gender. You can be a Virgo. We don't call it out. Okay. And the same way that Belle Gibson was preying on people's hope to cure their cancer. This is the same thing that happens in a place where people are hurting and they want the help. And then you have someone like a Cheyenne Bryant who comes in and claims to be a doctor. That's right. She trademarks Dr. Bryant. Which, personally, if you had already had it, you ain't got to trademark it. I mean, I'm just saying. But that's just me. Maybe I missed it. Maybe I just, I don't know. What got me though is, let me tell you real quick. As we sip something. What got me though is that in this latest interview, she was asked about the backlash when it comes to her showing her credentials, and she again compared herself. She references Jesus and the walk to the cross. If Jesus, she says, had stopped to defend himself against every accusation along the way, he would still be there today, and humanity would still be waiting for forgiveness. Instead, he kept moving. He ran his play, and the work was finished. The metaphor is about choosing faith over reaction, about trusting your path more than you trust the noise around it. Look, let me tell you something real quick. We're not going to talk about the religious grifters in this episode. I don't have the time. I ain't got enough tequila over here, and I don't have the time.
And this is water.
I don't have it. I got water. Maybe I can fill in with some water. Okay, let me just. Why is it though? And I'm gonna say, and please forgive me, because if I'm wrong, please let me know in the comments. I'm gonna come to your comments. I got some great ones waiting on me. But why is it, especially in the Black community, that the first thing we do when stuff goes awry is we throw in religion? Why is that? Thoughts, ladies?
It's like I was saying before, because rarely do people question religion or question Jesus, and we've been taught it's wrong to do so. So the moment you throw that in as a factor, everyone shuts up. Oh, okay, Jesus is in this, so we can't question it. And so by aligning herself with something religious, be ready for some kind of religious book to come from her soon. There's a couple of because grifters don't know how to do things without grifting. So when the jig is up on this one, she's going to move on to something else, believe me. And the religious thing, in my opinion, is probably what she's going to move on to, and she's setting the stage for that. Religious conservatism, let me say that. So I think that's actually where it comes from, that we do not like to question. We are very heavily religious as a group in general. I say people of African descent the world over are very heavily religious, and there's a reason for that. That's not this show. But because of that, we are very leery of calling out anyone that aligns themselves with religion. I think the thing is too, also, that aside from that, she's Black. And there's this thing now that has been for a while that we are reluctant to call out other Black people who do wrong because of the persecution we already receive in society. So because of that, and I think this is the bigger thing, we are reluctant to do that. Now, people are calling her out, definitely. This is a whole other thing, because there have been other grifters that are male that people don't call out as much, if you notice. They call them out, but they sweep it under the rug. But this has become a whole thing, and rightfully so. She gets no sympathy from me, but it's interesting to look the role that gender, religion, and race have in this whole thing.
She could follow the R. Kelly playbook and put out a gospel album and say, woe is me, I've sinned one more time, but God saves me. So, you're right. Her book may be coming out. It's a very good chance it's coming out. But before I go to you, Dr. Dale, I want to say hello to Ms. Alice, who is here. She says, that's always my question, because it is there. And I do want to bring in this before we continue this conversation. This went too fast. This comment from Lisa, she says, sometimes degrees are not needed. Like a very talented person could design someone's home without an interior design license, but messing around with people's mental states without a degree is crazy. It is evil, in my opinion. It is evil. The same way that people who are out there being a dentist and doing orthodontics and not being a true dentist. Look, a lot of what goes on in the head is connected in your mouth, okay? So it doesn't take much to have like an abscess become a bigger problem that leads to an aneurysm. That is some serious, that's nothing to play with. I'm just like, how do you get out of the bed in the morning and say, hey, well, I'm making my 4 million, and you have veneers that might fall out of your mouth? I don't understand. Nicholas says this podcast feels free and touches on so many everyday topics. I need a part 2. Bruh, we got 2, 3, 4, 5 coming because I've already decided we got to figure out how to have a chat about, and you are right, Dr. Tachi, I hate to say it, just the Black American grifters, because that appears to be in its own thing. But for me, I look at it as you already have a community that is often exploited and underserved, and then here you come in to do more damage.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what? Seriously? Yes. As Mary says, the health wellness industry is so rife with grifters, it's diabolical. And now with the AI ads, marketing is getting even worse. Ooh. Jazzy says, yes, the trademark was low-key smart on her part. Crazy but smart. You know, here's the deal. If you actually had that degree, you wouldn't have to even worry about having to trademark it. I'm just saying, like, because you
exactly
have it.
I read.
Exactly.
No, go ahead, Dr. Tachi.
Well, I'm sorry. I just wanted to say really quickly that and there's an air of selfishness to that as well. I mean, first of all, you're selfish for presenting yourself as someone that you are not and receiving money from people, and damn whatever happens to them and their mental health. That is selfish, but it's also an air of selfishness to go and trademark something that you are actually not. There are actually Dr. Bryants out there that might want to trademark this. Now, again, if somebody you want to do Dr. Bryant mouthwash, that's not the same classification under the Trademark and Patent Office, so that's not going to be a problem. But someone who wants to trademark something, the exact same type of business, that's going to be a problem. How selfish are you that you didn't even consider that?
And every time someone, I mean, like Dr. Bryant, every time someone exaggerates their credentials, their what they are actually doing and don't have the license, the degree, the experience to back it up themselves, they're borrowing trust that they haven't earned.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And yes. Eventually, at some point in time, like we're seeing now, that comes due,
Somebody got to pay that bill. But here's the other part. Since you mentioned that trust, I want to go there. Mel Gibson, the fact that she was doing what she was doing, people delayed getting the adequate cancer treatment that they needed because of what she was pushing. You've got your fake medical professionals who are, again, causing physical harm. That's a risk. You have your fake therapists and coaches who can create more emotional damage.
Trauma.
You have drama. You've got your financial exploitation of vulnerable audiences. I think about, and I didn't put her in here because she should have her own episode, but Elizabeth Holmes. Now she down here in Tejas. She down here in Texas still, you know what I'm saying? Surprised she ain't got out yet. But remember how she was telling people this one drop of blood could do all these things? People were harmed by her con. Real talk.
Gee, the time people don't get back. The time they have invested. They could have been actually getting some real help.
Seriously, real help. And there were people, I could have sworn there was like one lady who, based on the blood work she was given, decided to abort her baby, and turns out her child was actually healthy. If I'm wrong, somebody in the audience, please correct me.
Right. Yeah.
But you are messing with people's lives. These acts, these really horrible acts, have serious consequences. As Jazzy says, truth, it shows that so that you understand what she is doing. She doesn't care about anybody but herself. That's true. But hey, guess what? I got one more for you. Hey, we got our favorite. He's back, Dr. Love. Now this is first of all, he started early. He
was like in kindergarten when he started.
I mean, so he was a fake teen doctor. He was 18 when he did the first con.
Yeah.
He was back. This is like, I think back in 2021, I think he was sentenced. But he was sent to prison for a new scam. He is a serial grifter, as they say. This one, he was getting money from people. So instead of having people take the money and pay that they're supposed to go to, they were going to other places that he was telling them, and he ended up stealing like $10,000 from his employer. Serial grifter. He was 18 years old, pretending to be a doctor.
Dr. Love.
I was like, wait, what?
Okay. May I?
Yes.
At some point, knowing the type of world we live in, we need to hold ourselves responsible for taking shortcuts. So not only are they taking shortcuts, so are we. In what world are you not able to look up somebody's medical license? Any five and dime idiot can take a screenshot of a degree and plaster it on the wall with a Dollar Tree frame.
Not the island talk. And you went exactly where I was going to go, because that comes back to personal development. Talking about emotional intelligence isn't just about understanding your own emotions. It's also about recognizing when someone intentionally is manipulating your emotions against you.
Yes.
So your discernment, you have to be able to, are they baiting you? What do they want? What are their motivation? You need to check them out. You need to go research them. You have responsibility as well as the one that is subscribing.
Absolutely.
I love how you ladies are just it's almost as if you were reading my notes, because I want to talk about the accountability of the person that was grifted. I do want to do that. Let me do this really quick. Hold up. For those of you who are tuning in, because we're going to have this conversation. I'm not going to rush it. Surprise, surprise. But you are you are watching a live edition of Girl, Listen. And sometimes you got to like really stress it, like, girl, listen. And I am Gwendolyn G.R. Houston Jack. We are having this conversation. I have invited two legit doctors to come on and talk about it. We have Dr. Tachi and we have Dr. Dale. Dr. Tachi is about media and pop culture. She's an expert in that, as well as other things. And Dr. Dale is all about emotional intelligence. So here's the question, because we talk about the real cost of these lies, but I do want to talk about the accountability of the audience that's being grifted. Now, there is a show, one of my favorite shows. I think it's still on, but I don't have cable, so somebody tell me. But it's titled American Greed. Y'all remember that?
Yes.
Y'all know about American Greed, where they talk about like these major grifters? And then I said to myself, but check it. The people being grifted, there's a little bit of greed there too.
Yes.
Because if it's too good to be true, it is too good
to be true.
Absolutely.
So yes, your greed allows you to be cheated. But you're greedy too, right? Like, so it all comes full circle. So here's the question that I want to throw to you two, as well as anyone in the audience. Why are we so easily convinced? Is it that we are attracted to confidence? Are we desperate for answers? Are we just avoiding our due diligence because it's look, these veneers, and I don't I'm sorry, I couldn't even get it out with a straight face. I get that you want a really good deal because the American healthcare system sucks balls, okay? Yeah. But at some point, you got to know before you go trekking yourself to anybody's office and having them play around in your mouth. You might want to check that, kid. You might want to check it. If it's too good to be true, probably because it is. So what is it? Because there is some accountability on the person for going down this road. And I say that lightly because, again, I understand. Like I said, our father passed away from lung cancer. I knew it was aggressive. I read the report. So there wasn't this, hey, where's the magical cure? That was not it. Like, moving up those people. But there are other people who were like, she says she cured it. She's still here. Maybe that can work for me.
Go ahead, Dr. Dale.
I would say shortcut. It's quicker, it's faster. We are it seems like, it's shiny. Every this is and to add to that, every time that someone is deceiving someone else, it makes it harder for the actual people that are actual doctors or actual therapists. And we are falling for it ourselves, because I want to get this done. And I think, G and Dr. Tachi, I think it's a little bit of everything, right? Especially what's going on in the world, from politics to the economy to these gosh darn taxes or whatever it is that overseas stuff, and you just trying to make it, put food on your kids' table so they can eat, send them off to school. You're doing the best that you can. All the stuff that's going on in the workplace, and these employers trying to, whatever they're doing with AI and trying to get rid of the employees, and should they use it, should they not use it, like all of that stuff. I think it's a combination of everything coming together, and people just want I'm just tired, and I just want out. And this one sounds like he's saying something that, that I want to hear. So I'm gonna give it a try without doing my due diligence, and hopes, fingers crossed, that it works.
Yeah.
That's what it really boils down to. I'm going to bring back Joan's comment here, where she says, in today's world, everyone wants a quick fix. Folks are not willing to